Welcome again on this fascinating journey of research. In this video and let's say the upcoming videos 1 or 2, we'll be discussing about evaluation research. What is evaluation? We'll understand evaluation by discussing couple of definitions. We'll also look into the goals of evaluation, followed by evaluation strategy, types of evaluation, questions under two different types of evaluation, formative and summative evaluation, and finally we'll discuss about evaluation culture. So let's get started. What is evaluation research? Evaluation research is one specific form of social research. So you try to do a social research in order to know the impact of certain interventions or programs. So you wish to evaluate it, that whether something is able to deliver its goals or not. Evaluation is viewed as an embedded within a larger planning evaluation cycle. So it is not like something like a post-mortem kind of activity where everything is done and then you are evaluating, and where there is no scope for further for any change. So that is why planning an evaluation cycle which brings two things, so that it generates evaluation, provides some kind of feedback which helps to plan in a better way. How much is you have already able to attain, what is more to be done, that is meant by this. We should also note that evaluation can be a threatening activity. So many a times people fear organizations to run any kind of evaluation study, because evaluation will sometimes bring forth something which can destabilize or which is not desirable, which weakens a position of a person or an organization. So it could be threatening activity in that respect. So, and for many organization, building a good evaluation culture is something could be difficult. So there is always a motion for building a good evaluation culture. How to build that, we'll discuss about little bit about that. So let's get started with understanding what is evaluation. Evaluation is the systematic assessment of the worth or merit of some object. So we are doing is a kind of assessment. Evaluation means assessment, and it is not random assessment, it is systematic assessment. So there are well set goals, parameters, methods, right? So you deploy those tools, and your idea is to come to arrive at some kind of number, some kind of impression which gives you that what is the worth or merit of something. Why? So you have carried out a social project. What is the worth of it? What is the merit of it? But this definition is hardly perfect, as you cannot not every situation calls for assessing the worth or merit. For example, what is the worth or merit of a descriptive study? You are just describing something. Where is the worth or where is the merit, right? Same is the case with implementation analysis. So how something is happening, you are more interested in how well something is being managed than translating everything in terms of some money or some value. And similar is the case with formative evaluation. We'll see so how something is formed. So process is more important from one step, two step, right? So that is one definition of evaluation. The other one says that evaluation is a systematic acquisition and assessment of information so as to provide useful feedback about some object. So systematic is common to both the definitions, or rather systematic assessment. Here we have an additional term, acquisition, and it is about information. Information could be seen for something which initiates action. So information will lead you to provide, will take you to this frame of, to this plane of providing feedback, and feedback revises, has the potential to review your idea, to make some changes, or to act accordingly, or do something or do nothing about a given situation. So one thing is clear, that both definitions says that assessment is a systematic activity, and object means a lot many things. It could be a program, or it could be a policy, it could be technology, person, need, or activity. So concerning a program, concerning a policy, concerning a technology, how good, how well is it, how something is happening, end goal or instrumentality, whatever we wish to assess, that is called evaluation. The goal of evaluation is to provide useful feedback, in just one line, to a variety of audience, from sponsors to donors to client, administrators, staff, and others. So this is something which is very obvious, that why do we want to evaluate? Because we want to give some useful feedback, right, to the concerned party. The major goal should be to influence the decision maker or policy formulation through the provision of empirically driven feedback. We value data, we value information, so whatever decisions we are taking, that should be backed by empirical evidences, and this is where evaluation comes in. There are different kinds of evaluation strategies, and strategies primarily means broad overreaching perspective. So strategies are like, you have a course of action, and that course of action takes you somewhere, and as you could note that it is about broad overreaching perspective. So something which may not be very clear in short run, there would be a long run, that what is the overall purpose, the overall objective kind of thing. So when we try to evaluate, what kind of strategies are available to us, so depending upon the kind of inquiry we set in, we have 4 major groups of evaluation strategies to refuge, to take help from, starting with scientific experimental model, management oriented models, qualitative anthropological methods, and participant oriented models. So let's understand them one by one. Scientific experimental models are historically most dominant ones, and it is about, so basically at the heart of scientific experimental models are this value, the value of which are primarily discussed under science. So they prioritize on, they focus on impartiality, accuracy, objectivity, and validity of the generated information. So whatever information is coming your way, this is what you have to evaluate upon. Evaluation strategy, how we are going to evaluate information, should be impartial, it should be accurate, it should be objective, and it should be valid. So all these things help you to evaluate. So what kind of studies do we cover under this? We primarily cover scientific and quasi experimental design, experimental and quasi experimental designs. Specific examples include objective based research, primarily coming from education or economics, econometrically oriented studies such as cost benefit analysis and theory driven evaluation. So this is where we tend to adapt a scientific experimental model as a preferred set of evaluation strategy. The next one is management oriented models. So it all depends on what we are evaluating or measuring. So sometimes we refer to management oriented models. For example, PERT and CPM, program evaluation and review technique and critical path method, is quite common in operation research, network analysis, where we tend to assign, where we tend to evaluate that how good that program was, or how the best path or critical path method, right? So all those things we can do that. There are other models also. You could refer about these models. Just surf a little bit about UTOS model, which talks about unit, treatments, observation, and this would be and settings. Okay, so UTOS and SIP model, which talks about context, input, process, and product. So you could evaluate, and these are the ways what you need to evaluate. These models will help you. So these are the dimensions on which you have to do your evaluation. Next is your qualitative or anthropological models, which emphasize on the importance of observation. So it says that the ultimate source of all meaning and value is in the lived experience of human beings. So very, very contextual and very, very personal. So what is the source of meaning and value? The person who is passing through that phase is the right source or the ultimate source. So we have a name called phenomenological perspective. That is what we call it. Quite a tongue twisting, but that is what we try to highlight upon. That is a source, and that holds a lot of research value. You cannot undermine someone's experience, right? It is also known as naturalistic or fourth generation evaluation. So naturalistic, how a person is, we are not creating any kind of artificial environment or intervention, conducting some kind of experiment or bringing in some. We are simply observing something under its natural setting. So that is why this thing becomes important. So all kind of qualitative schools, when we try to refer to critical theory, art criticism approaches, and grounded theory. So these are the ways, these are the models wherein this kind of evaluation strategy can be used, especially in context of social research we are talking about. Next is your participant oriented models, which actually emphasizes on who is the participant. So participants' experience becomes important, especially clients and users of the program and technology. So who are the end users of a program and technology? What is their experience? How they are? What is their feedback? If that matters to us, if that is important for us, then that is basically a participant oriented models. For example, consumer oriented evaluation system. So this is all for today and for this video, and in the next video we'll discuss about types of evaluation. So keep watching, stay tuned. Thank you.